Jace was into his zombies at a very early age, and I was living in San Francisco, and I believe Jace was living in Sacramento, and but when he'd come to visit me, we'd go to Tanforan, and unfortunately there was a zombie movie playing there, and it was usually an Italian Chomp movie that I coined about zombies and zombettes. And oh my God, we'd sit in the movie theater, and it was the goriest thing. You'd see these zombies eating up people and tearing them apart, and Jace would just sit there with rapt attention. He loved it. I would sit there with my hands over my eyes because I couldn't take it anymore. And one time we were sitting at Tanforan watching an Italian Chomp movie, and the film broke, and I said, "Thank you, Lord." And
My name is Jace Whitman. I'm a filmmaker. As of this filming, I am 38 years old, father of 2. I make horror movies.
You make some fantastic monster movies.
I respect you. You're a filmmaker.
That's
you
right.
are a filmmaker.
That's right.
You are an auteur and an artiste.
And
horror films, you do a good job. I saw your stuff.
I didn't really realize what I was getting into when I started. You know, it was kind of just chasing a dream and just going by the seat of my pants. I've always felt that Sacramento was the place for me to kind of make my mark. It's kind of a blank canvas in a way, especially when I first started doing music and then now movies, that not much happens here and there's not a lot of distractions. And a lot of people that I respect have kind of made their mark in their own hometown. Sacramento's been my hometown since 1980. I just think it's kind of ripe for something, you know, to happen. There have been some bands that have hit off here, but not really any filmmaking thing yet, so we'll see. I like, Sacramento always has had kind of an identity crisis to me, you know, because it's wanting to be a big city, wants to be San Francisco, and it's kind of, you know, wants to be LA, but it's too small to do it, and it's growing, so it's getting there now. And there is a filmmaking scene here now that wasn't here before. So, you know, my network of actors and people I know, my friends are here. And it's the place. It's cheaper to live than LA, and it's better to be a big fish in a small pond than be the shark among many in the ocean. And I had family that lived in Los Angeles and were always trying to convince me to move to LA to pursue filmmaking and music and everything, and I always resisted because I don't like LA as a place to live. And here, doing something, you know, creative is uncommon, where everybody's doing it. So I find that people are a lot more receptive to what I'm trying to do here.
because he's poured his heart and soul and every last dime he has into making this. And yet, and that's why I said he is the epitome of the starving artist at this point, just willing to put it all on the line to get this thing made. And that's why I really hope he does. And I envy him in that regard. And I've told him this, and he's had other people talk about envying him, just because he is willing to go for it. And there's so few people out there who are really willing to sacrifice everything, all their personal life, their finances, everything, to go for what they want. And he's willing to go for it, and he's willing to put himself out there, and everyone be damned. He's going to do what he wants to do, and I think that's great.
I'm about chasing the dream, you know, and doing, in a way, I've been finding recently examples of this, you know, realizing that I'm doing what a lot of people wish they would do. A lot of people want to do this. A lot of people have this dream. And whereas I think I'm making every mistake in the book and questioning my own sanity for pursuing this, I'm still actually living this dream also that other people share, in just going for it. You know, I wouldn't be able to if I hadn't been this obsessive and in developing skills, and I have this ongoing debate with myself of if talent versus skill. You know, I've had that conversation with a lot of people. You know, is there such thing as a talent, or is it just developed skill? And I do think now that there is a talent, which means that certain people are chosen to do something. But there's a lot of people that I think have the potential to do it that don't, because they don't believe, or they don't have the faith, or maybe that insanity that says you have to, you know. That goes into the arrogance thing, you know. I don't find myself to be arrogant in what I'm doing. I'm convinced, you know, and I have a vision. I see it very clearly, but I'm not putting myself on a pedestal that is above anyone else. It's just like, look what I can do. That's what it all boils down to. Look what I can do. And my master plan is to be this kind of a multimedia force, to have film, music, art, and writing projects all continually flowing out. And that's been my plan for years, and I've had for years, you know, I make a schedule out for myself and say, this year I want to have this, I want to do the comic book, and I want to do this movie, and I want to have this album out, and maybe do something else or act in somebody else's movie. And it hasn't come to fruition yet, and it's just been this process of doing it. And you know, this is like an extended labor that I'm going through right now. I'm actually in labor on 2 projects, you know, because we haven't even talked about the Baby Food and Monster Movies documentary yet, and that's a major project. You know, a lot of people that have been, you know, kind of business partners in a way with me on that project have said that that will be the one that makes the money. And you know, Whispers and Shadows will be my personal little thing, my introduction to the genre basically, but you know, the documentary would go big. And I could see that happening because it's got a huge crossover thing. But I don't see myself as like a really rebellious, out of the norm person, and at the same time I see myself as exactly that. You know, there's this weird contradiction about me, because I feel like I'm an everyday guy, but I'm not doing everyday things. You know, I'm looking for an everyday job now, and I've held down lots of everyday jobs and can't stand it because I know that's not what I'm supposed to do with my life.